The South Park streaming wars have been exhausting so far, and just when we thought there was a light at the end of the tunnel, looks like the streaming rights are actually in further limbo, and of course it is because of a merger. Let's talk about it. I can't believe how many videos I've made about mergers and streaming rights for South Park. Let's get into it. Brief recap, if you are not familiar, years ago, Matt Stone and Trey Parker made streaming deals with HBO and Warner Brothers to stream South Park on HBO Max. Then, a few years later, they made an additional streaming deal with Paramount, and they basically cut 4 episodes out of their seasonal order and created specials for Paramount Plus that were not part of the regular season that aired as separate entities from South Park in order to circumvent the existing streaming contract they made with HBO Max. It was shady, and it does look like they're going to lose their lawsuit about it. That's why this is all happening. But regardless of how that all panned out, the HBO Max contract is set to expire at the end of this month, June, and it's supposed to begin its life on Paramount Plus at the beginning of July. Even very recently, CEO Chris McCarthy was very confident in Paramount having South Park in July. He said it very confidently in an earnings call with their investors. That usually means it's the real deal. Paramount already has a deal in place with Matt Stone and Trey Parker to create new episodes through 2027. That's not really at risk here. However, there is a holdup because of the streaming rights. And this is an interesting case because back in the day, Matt Stone and Trey Parker very intelligently retained their streaming rights before they were worth anything. They were streaming episodes on southparkstudios.com before like Netflix was huge. And now that they own those rights outright, they are making bank on anyone who wants to stream their show. Now, currently, Paramount is in the process of merging with Skydance. And even though they are technically not one entity yet, there is a sort of handshake deal in place with Paramount that they will get approval from Skydance for any major acquisitions or streaming contracts. And that includes the $200 million plus it would take to stream South Park on Paramount Plus. Interestingly, Skydance is skeptical that South Park is worth that much money, which feels crazy to me because I think if any library of TV episodes is worth that much, it's proven to be South Park. And because Matt Stone and Trey Parker own the rights themselves, they do have the right to go shop the show elsewhere and not give it to Paramount. They can literally shop the show to any streaming service they want if those rights are not renewed with this contract. And according to all the inside knowledge we have, there are a lot of streamers that want to stream South Park. As you would expect, it is one of the most popular series out there. It's a huge library of over 300 episodes. It gets people talking, and it clearly has drawn a huge audience to HBO Max. There's a reason that they want to keep it. They might be trying to keep it. It could stay on HBO Max. But there are other libraries that are probably going for it as well. We're looking at Netflix or Hulu. Hulu would be a great spot for it considering they have so much adult animation. It would kind of be right at home there. But this would kind of be a monumental Paramount fumble if they decided not to keep the streaming rights for South Park. That means they would probably still air them on linear television on Comedy Central, and then the streaming rights would go however they see fit to whatever streamer is holding the show at the time. I don't know if that means we would get episodes next day or if it means we would be getting the whole season well after the fact. All of this remains to be seen. We don't even know where it's going to live. It feels like Paramount needs to figure this out. How do you fumble that so badly back then, where you didn't have your streaming network yet or didn't see the value in putting South Park on your streaming network, and now you have the opportunity to own South Park outright in terms of your streaming service, to have it exclusively on Paramount Plus, and you're maybe going to fumble the bag? You're maybe just going to lose out on that huge popular show, one of the main reasons people subscribe to your service in the first place? Crazy. I also don't know if that means, like, if the show were to leave Paramount Plus or never go to Paramount Plus and go to other streaming networks, would Paramount still retain their contracts for the streaming specials that Matt and Trey have been making for Paramount Plus? Because as it stands, it feels like those are going to go away and the season is going to go back to a 10 episode order, which I think a lot of fans wouldn't hate. I think people miss the just straight up 10 episode season instead of the 6 episode season with 2 sporadic specials sometime during the year. It also calls into question about these potential banned episodes that have not been appearing on Paramount Plus internationally. I did a whole video about that over on my main channel, and I did some research into it to figure out exactly why it's happening. I think it's pretty clear why it's happening, and so you can check that video out if you want. But there's a whole array of episodes that they haven't been airing in syndication and that they probably aren't going to put on Paramount Plus if the show moves over to Paramount Plus. And if the show is streaming on Netflix or Hulu or another streaming service, those episodes might be able to be streamed there. And because Matt and Trey own the streaming rights to their show, there is a chance that they could use this as leverage over Paramount and say, hey, these networks are offering to not only give us this amount of money, but they're going to air our whole show. You refuse to air these episodes. And I feel like that is a big pressing point for Matt and Trey, who are so anti-censorship, have dealt with these kinds of corporations trying to silence them so many times. I feel like that could be actually a really big draw to a different streaming service outside of Paramount. Or even if it doesn't draw them outside of Paramount, it could be something they go to Paramount and say, hey, we will sign with you for this amount of money, but you have to play all of our episodes. You can't leave any of these on the banned list. There are a lot of questions here, but I cannot believe that after all this, we are literally less than a month away from the potential premiere of South Park on Paramount Plus, and July 9th is the new season airing on Comedy Central, which presumably was going to also air on Paramount Plus either simultaneously or the next day. And suddenly that is in limbo. That would be a monumental flop, a monumental fumble, a monumental failure if they were not able to get a deal done in time. I mean, especially if the HBO contract expires. Is South Park not going to be streaming anymore when the new season premieres? That would be a disaster. That would be a massive, unfathomable disaster. I don't think Matt and Trey want that. I don't think they have any intention of letting that happen. They could just genuinely shop the rights to someone else and say, hey, Paramount, if you don't do this, fuck you, we're putting it over here. I think they really understand the value in having their entire library out there available for people to watch, especially when new episodes are airing. That is when there's the most interest in their show, when people are going back through the old library, through the old back catalog the most. So this is really interesting. I don't know what to say. If they fumble this, I might cancel my Paramount, not because I need South Park on my Paramount, but because that just shows such a fundamental mishandling of a huge IP that I don't know how I could feel good about supporting your streaming service. Even though I like Star Trek and love having the Star Trek library on there, and there's some other stuff on Paramount that I like in terms of movies, that kind of monumental mishandling of one of your biggest franchises does not bode well for confidence in your ability to make decisions. And I think that's all I got for you. If you're interested in all of the crazy twists and turns of this South Park lawsuit, I did a video on this channel previously about how it might air on Paramount Plus and HBO Max. Obviously, that may be out of date. That still could happen. It's all weird. I did the one about banned episodes over on my main channel. There's stuff all over the place. I talk a lot about South Park, as you may or may not have seen. Let me know what you guys think. Is this insane? Is this biggest fumble in the history of animated television? Let me know below in the comments. Peace.
I stay mellow watching Johnny Two Cellos. He talks cartoons, he's a really cool fellow. He keeps you posted on adult cartoons. If that's what you're into, then grab a spoon and a very big bowl of your favorite cereal. Feels like Saturday morning cartoon material. Johnny Two Cellos, watch him on YouTube. Now enjoy this groove and bust a move.